Hello everyone, welcome to Yoga Upload. I'm Maris Aylward. Today's episode is another Q&A video and our question comes from Facebook. It's from, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, Dilge Aydin or Aydin. I'll write it there. She gave me permission to butcher her name. But anyway, this is her question, the second part of her question. Is there any way to get hurt while doing yoga? And if so, how should we make sure that we are doing it right? Well, thank you so much for your question. Short answer is yes, we can get hurt doing yoga. In the same way that you can get hurt doing anything else. You can get hurt working out at the gym or doing chores in your house, and a lot of these other activities can cause injury. But I understand where the question is coming from, and it's because yoga is thought to be a healing practice. It's supposed to be what you do to heal you from your injury or to prevent injury. So I understand why people might be surprised that you can get hurt doing yoga, but unfortunately, yes. Now, there are many possible causes for injury, for getting hurt in yoga. And the number one biggest factor that I think is lack of body awareness. Now, what does this mean? Lack of body awareness means rarely inhabiting our body, meaning we don't pay much attention to how we're feeling, sensations in our body, how we're actually moving our body in space, our posture from moment to moment. We're not paying much attention to that. And a lot of us live mostly in our heads. Okay, so we rarely take the time to really feel and pay attention to the body. So that's lack of body awareness. And that's where yoga comes in actually, because we slow down the movement enough, because we pay attention to our alignment and postures, you develop body awareness when you practice yoga. Now, if you're new, there is a danger, of course, of getting hurt because you don't know what you're doing. We all start somewhere. In the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. So if you're a beginner in a yoga class, for example, you might have poor alignment. You don't know where to place your hands and your feet and how to position your body to get into a pose. And that might cause some minor injuries, some aches and pains here and there. And for beginners, I think, and some teachers will disagree with me, I think that in the beginning, if you have no body awareness whatsoever, it helps to have a teacher that will guide you. And it also helps to have a mirror in front of you, so you have a visual reference, so you can see what you're actually doing. Because the truth is, and I've seen this many times in class, I'll give instructions and I'm looking at my students, and some people think that they are following my instructions. They think that, yes, I stack my knee directly over my ankle, but they're not aware that they're not doing that. And so in the beginning, a mirror might help. Now, as you practice, as you grow, you will depend less and less on that mirror. Just by moving your body alone without any visual reference, you'll know how you're placing and positioning your body, and you won't be that dependent on the mirror anymore because you've increased your body awareness. And therefore, you minimize the risk of injury. Another possible cause of injury, which is also related to lack of body awareness, is a sense of competition. Okay, and this is true for all levels of students, whether you're a beginner or so-called advanced yoga practitioner. A lot of us lead our lives, wanting and needing to achieve, to accomplish, to compete, to perform, to win. And if we take that same competitive element in yoga, that's where we can get in trouble. And you might be in a yoga class and you're looking around at what everyone else is doing and you're pushing yourself too hard so you can get into the poses that these other people have been doing for so long. Or even if you are advanced, there are still going to be poses that will never be available to you because of the body that you've been given, and there's nothing wrong with that. So forcing yourself into these postures, into these asanas just because someone else is doing it can be another cause for injury. And also, even if you're not competing with other people, you might be competing with yourself. You know what I mean? You might be thinking, every time I get on my mat, I have to be better than how I was the last time I was on my mat. That could be another cause for injury. So what's the solution? Whether beginner or advanced, let's check our egos at the door. When you get on your mat, it's time to let go of that sense of competition, of that sense of wanting to perform or achieve or to be better than. The point of your yoga practice is for you to be sensitive and to be mindful and to pay attention to your current state and adapt your practice to suit that current state. So you might have days where you can do a vigorous vinyasa, you can do all these strong arm balance poses. You might also have days where you just need to pull back a little bit, do a more gentle, a more restorative practice, maybe do child's pose a lot instead of going through your chaturanga. And you have permission to do that in yoga. That is the point. The point is not to be better or to accomplish anything. The point is to be so present that you know exactly what you need from moment to moment. And again, that will go a long way in preventing injury. And related to that is balancing your practice overall. Like I said, if you're doing your power vinyasa yoga every day, that might be a little too much. You want to balance that with some more passive practices, like maybe a restorative or a yin yoga or just a more gentle yoga class. There's also injury that comes from repetitive movements, repetitive stress. So combine that with poor alignment, lack of body awareness, and you keep doing the same movements, same poses over and over again. Even just, a little misalignment might cause injury over time. And also, you might not be aware of it, but you might already have some kind of underlying condition or an underlying injury that you've ignored, and you practice yoga and then you do something that triggers the pain, but really it was from a previous injury. So that's also another possibility. And remember, no matter how long you've been practicing yoga, no matter how advanced you believe your practice to be, it takes one moment, 1 second of not paying attention. It takes just one moment of your mind wandering, of you not focusing on what you're doing in the present moment for a possible injury to occur. So always a solution is being in the now, being mindful, paying attention, and focusing on the present moment. So those are the ways you can get injured, and some of my tips for minimizing the risk of injury. No activity is completely, 100% no risk. There's always a risk, but of course you can minimize it. You can be careful and you can take care of yourself. So for beginners, especially if you're going to a yoga class, if that's going to be your first experience with yoga, make sure it's a beginner-friendly class. Make sure you do your research into what class you're going into. Maybe talk to the teacher a little bit beforehand. Let them know that you're just starting out so that they can guide you. And find a teacher that's appropriate for you. You might try a few teachers, a few classes to test it out. And if it doesn't resonate with you, if you're not connecting, if you just don't feel it's right for you, then keep looking. The teacher that you need is going to be out there for you. Over the years of practicing and teaching, I've certainly had my share of aches and pains. I know that at least in the very beginning, super gung-ho, super excited. And I know I've pushed myself too far at times and have gotten hurt and have had to pull back a little bit to recover. And that's part of life. You learn, you grow, and you change, and you adapt. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced any injuries in your yoga practice? Or if you have any other questions, please write it in the comment section below, or you can also connect with me on Facebook or Instagram and ask your questions there. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.